Hi, everybody. Debbie, Miss Ladybug here. Wanting to talk about what it's like when you've been homeless and unhoused and under stress for years and then you aren't. So basically what it's like to have PTSD and complex PTSD, what it was like during ongoing trauma, what it's like now, and what my hopes are for improvements. Of all the things that I've had to deal with over my lifetime, probably the one thing that has affected me the most, has had the least amount of attention up until the last 3 years, and has and continues to impact my life more than any other thing, more than benzos, more than opiates, more than divorce, more than homelessness, more than anything, is the fact that I have complex PTSD. And it was only started to be treated in the last 3 years. It was alluded to that I had PTSD and possibly complex PTSD back in 2010, but it was never really addressed. I've had trauma. Hey, you guys, my dogs are over here. Stop. Lola, go lay down. They're wrestling. I've had trauma most of my life. I grew up with alcoholic parents. My mother had mental health issues. My father did too. Depression, at least, alcoholism. Those are mental health issues. There was a lot of discord, fighting, obviously intoxication. My mother was also on medications, lots of medications. And those of us that have been that route, we can understand why maybe she acted some of the ways that she did because of the medications. But yeah, I have had ongoing stress and traumas, one after another, for pretty much as long as I can remember. I mean, things started going bad when I was like 6, 7. And between my ages that I was at home, I saw a lot of things and experienced a lot of things many people never ever will experience, and things children should not experience. And it affected me. It affected my brain. It caused damage to my brain. Likely, if they were to do an MRI to look for it, they could see that damage, but they haven't. So, and if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So, but when you have ongoing trauma, your amygdala gets kind of stuck in a fight, flight, freeze mode. You're either feel like you need to fight to save yourself, you need to flee to save yourself, or you're frozen and paralyzed in fear. I've experienced a little of all of those. I tend to be either I freeze or I fawn. Fawn is another one, which wasn't talked much about until recently, but fawning is where you do a lot of caretaking and appeasing and all of that to get those around you to treat you how you want to be treated, with love and kindness and acceptance. And so you do a lot of people pleasing, and I've done that. But yeah, I lived in fear. I've had fear as long as I can remember. I can't even imagine what not having a day of fear is like. I really can't. For the years I was in it, I was just in it. You don't even recognize you're in it when you're fighting for safety, when you're when you have been rejected. I mean, my parents, my mother disowned me multiple times. I got bounced around. That affects your brain. That does damage to your brain. So it's not what's wrong with me, it's what happened to me. And things that I can tell you about living like that, there's a lot of things you miss. Things the average person that does not live with severe trauma plaguing them all the time, they tend to be more creative. They tend to be calmer. They do much better with friends and family. They can get along better. They aren't as reactionary. PTSD causes a lot of other symptoms: depression, anxiety, reactivity, anger bursts, confusion, and for me, exhaustion. It's exhausting. Always being on, like I'm gonna die, like wolves and dinosaurs are chasing me. That's what it feels like. Even though I can rationally say I know that I'm not fighting for my life, but yet I felt like I was, because that's what it felt like, and that's how it was. The years I was coming off meds, that I was in a tent or an RV, unsure from day to day if I could stay where I was, not having my basic needs met much of the time, being terribly misunderstood and treated badly by outsiders, by people who didn't understand what was going on, being treated badly and gaslit and scapegoated with doctors and medical providers that were supposed to be helping me, and all they did truly was cause more problems, just continued to exacerbate the symptoms of PTSD. So even if I had been getting a little bit better over the years, or was coping better with my childhood traumas, then I am hitting these new traumas that are just activating everything again. And so all those symptoms have been present and fired up a lot. I don't make any bones about it. I've been in therapy constantly for the last 3 years, and have been in therapy off and on most of my adult life. I've had a few periods of time where I've gone a couple years without a therapist, but I usually have a therapist that I speak with. I see my therapist now every 2 weeks. I'm about ready to graduate to every month or every 3 weeks, because I'm doing better, but I still am easily triggered. And one of the reasons I wanted to make this video was because I have so many people, and I just am so grateful for the people who continue to watch what's going on in my life, or are concerned, or find benefit with these videos and with what I share. But a lot of people have been commenting of, oh, it must be so nice you're in a home. You must be so relaxed. You don't have to worry anymore. Must be so, you look so good. You look like this, da 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 da. Just like it's always been. I was born with decent genes when it comes to the looks department. and I have taken care of my skin and my hair, and I know how to accentuate what's best on me. But truly, what I look like has no bearing on what's going on in my brain and in my spirit. And I've now been in my home where I've been living since April 14th was when I moved here. Now, I was gone for 5, almost 6 weeks of that. So August, September, October, November, December, January. So 5 months. So I've only been here 4 months, less than 4 months, about 4 months in this home. And it's nice. It is nice. It's nice to have a flushing toilet and to have access to hot water and a shower whenever I want. And the kitchen, of course, is just divine to work in. And it's warm and it's cozy and my bed is super comfortable and I've got room for both the dogs and it's good. My landlords, the people who own this property, are kind and generous, and they like the work that I do, even though I probably do things a lot different than the other people they've had working. They appreciate my energy and that I care for where I'm living. But what a lot of you, well, what you would never know if I didn't tell you is I'm still exhausted. Because now, even though things are calmer and more secure, and I feel pretty secure that I can be here for a period of time, I still get triggered. It doesn't take much to trigger old memories like childhood stuff, smells, or watching a movie and seeing a scene, or even names can be triggers. And I can't help that. We can't control our thoughts. The only thing I can do is be mindful of how I respond and how I let it affect me. But that takes energy. So every time I'm triggered, whether it be a little trigger or a big trigger, and I get that clenching in my gut and I feel my throat kind of closing up and I feel the tears start behind my eyes and I feel my body tensing up, I have to deal with that. There is no special pill to make it go away. They tried that on me, the antidepressants and the benzos were going to help those anxiety moments and all that. Yeah, well, that just made things 300 bazillion times worse. Thank you very much. I'll manage through by my own, doing my own thing this time. But it is still hard. It's still hard. I'm still using more energy than someone that doesn't have this does. It's like a physical pain almost. And anyone that has pain, especially chronic pain or long-term pain, knows how exhausting that is. When you're trying to do life is not easy, especially in the world today. There's so many things to be concerned with, and it's just hard. And then you're having to do all these extra steps to feel okay because things are going on in your brain that you can't stop. I had been really hopeful for a long time that therapy and the different form of treatments that I've utilized, cognitive behavior therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, mindfulness, meditation, diet, all those things, I'd hoped, if I was really diligent, that the PTSD would get better and go away. What I'm learning and coming to an understanding of is it's not ever going to go away. It's something I'm going to have to live with. All those memories. And while today they don't make me tumble over the side of a ravine into an abyss of sadness and challenges like they did in the past, they still require energy. And I have to be attentive to that. And I am. But it's not easy. And while things are much, much better than they were, it's still hard. I still have feelings and thoughts about, oh, I can't get too much stuff, because what if I have to move? And I can't deal with a bunch of stuff because I've just moved too many times with too much stuff. And I had downsized to where I was very minimalist, and already I'm gathering stuff to do crafts because I'm not living in fight, flight, or freeze mode. I'm trying to get that part of my brain that has creativity stimulated. And so I've been buying craft materials and researching crafts and things like that. I lost track of what I was saying. But I'm still tired. And I still don't feel like I can just relax and go, okay, this is good. I'm going to be here. I'd like that. I really would like to just go, oh yeah, this is home and this is what I do, and just figure out what's next instead of being in that survival mode. So that's where I'm at. It's not as bad as it was, not at all. I'm not hurting physically as bad as I was. I'm not hurting mentally as bad as I was. I'm not hurting spiritually like I was. But just because it looks good doesn't mean everything's in top running condition. And so with that being said, it's a reminder, please, you do not know everybody's circumstance. When you pass a judgment on someone because of anything, you are doing such a disservice to humanity, because you're sending out energy about that human that is bad. You thinking bad is bad energy for them, and they don't deserve that. People go through a lot of hard things, and everyone has to figure out their own way of coping with it. Some people turn to drugs and alcohol and sex and gambling and shopping and cleaning and all kinds of things, addictions or maladaptive coping mechanisms. And society really looks badly if you're an addict to drugs or alcohol or gambling, even though that's legal. But if you're a cleaning addict, it's okay, even if that is hurting you and your family, because people can't be comfortable. So everyone has issues. Everyone has stuff you don't know about. Everyone has things that they're trying to navigate. And you have no idea because you don't walk in their shoes. Just like I don't walk in yours. And if I tried to walk in yours, man, you could have, maybe you got a lot of money and a great business and a wonderful family, and I'd try to step into those shoes and I wouldn't know how to walk. I'd be all wonky. Well, you'd be all wonky in mine. So don't think that you know how I feel, just how I look or how I'm talking. Don't think you know what other people are going through just based on appearances or what kind of car they drive or that they've been divorced. I've seen all of it all my life. I mean, really, it's the judgment. And I'm going to say this, in the religious communities, it's the worst. I mean, I used to participate in Christian church, and what the Bible says about how we're supposed to behave and all that. And I knew those people, and I knew they weren't doing what was the creed, but they would walk around all week long acting like they were all with it because they'd been there. To me, that was confusing. And that's why I really tried hard not to judge people, because I know that there's other parts that I don't always see or you don't always see. that that do speak to a person's character. And character matters. So I'd rather be honest and say, I don't have my shit all together, and I still have struggles. Even though y'all think I look good and I'm sounding good and I got a great house and everything, I'd rather tell you I still have struggles. I still occasionally probably do things other people wouldn't consider doing just to get through the day, you know? But I also do a lot of things that a lot of people and even some states consider illegal because I use cannabis. And cannabis has been shown and proven to be one of the best modalities for treating PTSD, for the horrible nightmares, which mine are so much better, for the anxiety, for the insomnia. All of those things are improved. So, you know, we all have to figure out what works for us. And my path is not going to be the same path as yours. But if I'm not doing anything to hurt you personally, I mean, I'm not out there doing anything to hurt anybody, and I'm not being hurt by you personally, then let's just be kind to one another and be as supportive as we can. Okay? Because I'm not out hurting anybody, and I don't think most people are. I don't think the bulk of humanity is out trying to, you know, hurt one another. But yet we do, without thinking. And that is the key component. Think. Be mindful. Take a breath before you interject your stuff out into another person's reality. You might think you could figure it all out for them. I'd be cautious of how I approach someone if I thought I had everything figured out for them. I personally don't like it when someone comes and tells me that they think they have something figured out for me when I know for a fact there's so much they don't know. It's like, really? You're gonna whip me into shape, huh? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling now, but I just wanted to speak to that, you know, people who are homeless, people who have been in addiction, people who've had horrible growing up lives, people who've been through long periods of traumatic situations, just because those situations come to an end or things change dramatically, it doesn't mean it's all gone and all better. It doesn't work that way. I know people on the outside, there's many people who, you have nothing to complain about now. Look, you got it all made. Well, yeah, but I also went through hell for a long, long time, and my body is still reacting, and I'm tired. I'm just tired. So I do the best I can. I do what I can to take care of myself. I be kind to myself. I give myself some grace because I've been through a lot. And I'm a really good person when I could have been a lot different, just from being angry and bitter and resentful. But that's not how I chose to go. So that's my gig for today. And just gonna enjoy the rest of the weekend. I'm hoping to have company coming soon, and life is good, but it's still exhausting at times. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you all are doing really great. Peace, y'all. Take care.